Hello and welcome to Ngwasheng Maths Online Academy. Like I promised on the previous video, that will be part 2. So under equation, we're still talking equations. However, I will be focusing on squaring both sides. Solve for x by means of squaring both sides. Bear in mind that in the exam, they'll just tell you to solve for x. They'll never give you instruction as to what to use, which method to use. But you should be able to look at the equation, be able to tell that with this equation, this is what I must apply, squaring both sides. Now, how do you see that you have to square both sides? The moment you see the root, square root somewhere, you know for the fact that I must square both sides. Even if you find a problem of this nature, I don't know if I'm going to manage to do more than 3 examples. However, bear in mind that all these problems that you see here, they are from the past paper, they are from the previous examination. So make sure you stay tuned, subscribe, comment, like. All right, let me try to explain a bit of what is happening here. There's a misconception that learners do. Since they are aware that they must group both sides, square both sides, they automatically square no matter how the equation looks. But let's try to avoid mistake, because before we can actually square both sides, we need to look at the equation, and so we can rearrange it if it's not in an order that is in our favor. Like, I prefer to work with, like, let me have a root alone. Any number or anything, let it go to the other side. So that means now, by the look of things, I don't want to group this root together with the 3, but I'd rather take 3 to the other side and then group. So let us do that. We are transposing. You see now, we transpose positive 3 to the right hand side to become a negative 3. But still, I cannot square while it's like this. I need to simplify this. So which gave me a negative 7. Now we can square starting from here. How so? Do this. This is us squaring both sides. This lesson is also for the grade 11 as well. Remember, it's a grade 12. 90% of what we're doing, if not 60-70% whatsoever, it comes from the previous grade. So what does this 2 do to this? It just get rid of the root. So we just remain with x minus 1. But this is what we know, that always when you see this, it says this thing twice, repeat or write it twice. We now can follow FOIL. From here, we follow FOIL. It takes us back to the previous lesson. Everything in mathematics, it links to one another. One topic move to the next, link to the other. Now, I'm going to have x squared minus a 14x plus 49. I already skip a step there. What did I skip there? When you say x times x is x squared, x times minus 7. So basically, this is what I skipped. X times negative 7 is negative 7. Negative 7 times x is negative 7x. Negative 7 times negative 7 is positive 49. Therefore, that's when you say, let's group the middle term. They give us negative 14x. Hence, I just have there. In exam, don't skip steps because you don't know which step is allocated for a mark. So now, this is what we have. We did talk about this many times, especially on the previous videos of grade 11s. Now, assuming that we are moving everything from left to right. So I'm going to have x squared minus 14x. This 14x will go with 1x. From positive, it will become a negative x. Now we've got a 49. That will go with this negative. 1 is going to be a positive 1. So now I'm having something of this nature. So I'm going to have a 15x as my middle term. Then I'm going to have a 50. Now we have to factorize. So if we factorize this, since on the previous simultaneous equation, we had, or even in grade 11, the videos under grade 11, where I was teaching more of factorization. By now, you should know, if you didn't check out those videos, please. Go and check them now. Because I'm talking squaring both sides. It's not like I'm teaching how to factorize. There was a separate lesson based on factorization under grade 11 video on the playlist. So now, when you see negative and positive, they are both negative. Now look for factors of 50 that can give you 15 when we add. So obviously 50, it will be 10 times 5, right? Can be between 5 times 2, can be more, but this cannot give us 15 when we add them together. Only this. So I'll put a 10 and a 5. What does that mean? X equals to 10 or another x equals to 5. Done. That is solving for x by squaring both sides. And then let's go and do the next one. The video is now 5 minutes long. At least we need 20 minutes or 10. Now, remember, under the equations, this one also carry more marks, roughly 5 marks here. Simultaneous is 6, 7, depending on how complex it is, but this one also have marks. So now let's come to the next one. I cannot automatically group. You can prove that by grouping this, get your solution. Once you're done, do the second attempt. Take this to the right and group and see. Square both sides and see whether you'll get the same answer. Never. You won't get the same answer. So I will start by removing 3. It was positive, now negative. Yes, that is the first thing. Now you can now do what? The squaring both sides. Why do we square? We want to get rid of the root. That is the only reason why we are squaring. So I'm having now this, almost similar to that. Now, what does this mean? We all know it means this. Now, let's find the product of these two binomial. Obviously, as a grade 12 by now, it should be good. If not, go and revise because everything was covered, I'm sure. Now, x times minus 3, that's minus 3x. Remember, FOIL application, can do that. X times x squared, x times 3, which is negative 3x. Now, negative 3 times x is negative 3x. Negative 3 times negative 3, that's positive 9. Now, we still have to group what? Our like terms. We are having a negative 6. Therefore, that side, we've got this. Now, assuming that this must be transposed to the right. So, I'll just group them, but on the right-hand side. X was positive, now it will be a negative. 1 was negative, now it will be positive. So, what is the result? This will give us negative 7. This will give us a 10. That is a 10. So again, just like the previous one there, let's factorize. No, it happened that we still have a negative and a positive. Both of them will be negative. If you want to know more of this factorization, just go to grade 11 playlist. Now, factors of 10 that can give us a 7, we know, is 5 times 2. If you say 10 times 1, they won't give us a 7, whether you add them or you subtract. So this is out. We're just taking this 5 and a 2. Therefore, when we finalize your answer, it will be something of this nature. Oh, done. All right. So I can provide. Actually, let me leave it as it is with these two. Or maybe I should look for something more complex and present it as well. All right, my good people, let me give you one last small problem from the examination and see.